max minus min divided by 2. Some new ones for you. There is a way to find the C value without looking at the graph and saying how many units I shifted up or down. It's a formula, unfortunately, all right, but it's not that bad. It is very, very similar to the amplitude formula, except I add the max and min and divide by 2. So if you want to find what that C value is, what I'm shifting up or down, or what the midline is, I add the max and the min and divide by 2. Well, why'd you skip over B? Why'd you go right to C? Well, B's a little bit different. I don't have a formula for you for B. But I have a formula that has it in it, and that's our period formula. Okay? I don't have a formula that goes right to B. What we're going to do is we're going to use the period formula to find B. 2 pi over frequency. That's what we're going to use today to find the B value. And you will see when we do these problems, I always find A and C first because they go pretty quick, and then I'll find B last because that takes a little bit. All right, you ready to roll? Start writing some equations. Number 1, I have given everything to you guys, everything to you. Write an equation of sine, amplitude, got it. Frequency, got it. Shift, got it. So I've given you everything right now. Here it is. You don't have to find anything, just read it correctly. Y equals. Here we go, Cooper. Y equals amplitude 3, and this is a sine function, so sine. Frequency, B value 4, and the 4 and the X both go inside the parenthesis, all right? Make sure the X is inside. And the shift, Cooper. Up 5, which means I'm going to add 5 at the end. Look at that. Gave you everything. Done. Am I always going to give you everything? Probably not. Look at that next one. I didn't give you anything in words. I just gave you the graph. Okay? What's the equation of that graph? So you need to find the A, B, C value right now just using the graph. Well, even before I do that, what graph is this? Is this a sine or a cosine graph? Because it doesn't say in the directions. What do you think, Matt? This is definitely cosine. And if you're wondering, how did he know that? Hey, where's sine always start, guys? At 0. All right, if it doesn't start at 0, I kind of go right to cosine. All right, so this is cosine. All right, A value, max minus min divided by 2. Let's do this, Brianne. What's my max and my min here? So 1 minus -1 divided by 2. What's it going to end up being? 1. And just to give you, because I know some of you guys can think this high, if the max and the min go up and down to the same number, that's your amplitude. You see how it goes up to 1 and down to -1? The same values, that means the amplitude's going to be 1. All right, if it goes up and down to the same values. All right, C value. I just changed the amplitude and add them now. Lucas, here we go. What's my max again? 1, but now I'm going to add the minimum, which was -1 divided by 2. What do I get out of this one? What's that? Which would be? 0. What's that tell me? There is no shift. Good. The C value is the shift. That means there's no shift. And the last thing we need to find is B. Ethan, what's B mean again? That's my what? Frequency. Okay, well, I don't know too much about the period. They didn't tell me anything because I just had the graph. Do you guys remember what frequency meant? What did it mean when we started introducing frequency? How many curves you see from what? Anybody remember? How many curves I see from 0 to 2 pi? So look from 0 to 2 pi on that graph. How many cosine curves do you see from 0 to 2 pi? Patrick, how many cosine curves do I see from 0 to 2 pi? I just see a half a cosine curve. So there's your frequency. How many you see from 0 to 2 pi? Put it all together for me. Here we go. Catherine, put it all together for me. Y equals. Yep. Yep. That's all I need. If you guys want to put the 1 in there, that's fine. If you want to put plus 0, I'm okay with that too. Questions on how we came up with that one? Okay. Get away from the graph. Let's go back to word. Let's go in words again. Cosine. I gave you the amp. Ooh, period. Okay, shifted down 1. All right. Vinny, here we go. What's my A value? 2. And what's my C value? It's the only thing I didn't give you. B. Is B 3 pi? No, that's the period. But using the period, we can find the B value. What's the formula, Brooke, again for period? Yep. And what's the period in this case? Okay, so in for P, I'm going to plug in 3 pi. And I'm going to try to solve it for B now. Get used to this right here, guys. Get used to this. I ask you to do this a lot. Give you the period. What's the frequency? How do you want to solve it? Cross multiply. Here we go. 3 pi times B equals 2 pi. And then Reagan on both sides. How do I get that B alone? Yep. Divide both sides by 2 pi. You guys should see a little cancellation happening. Oh, divide by 3 pi. Sorry. Here we go. Emma, what cancels out here? And my frequency is 2/3. Want to put it together there, Annika, for me? Y equals. Perfect, thank you. How you guys feeling right into your own equation? Ooh, we get another graph now, huh? Okay. See if you can find at least the A and the C value on your own right now. At least the A and the C. I know B may be a little difficult, but see if you can find the A and the C value on your own. If you want to try to find the B value, hey, go ahead. The frequency. But at least just get A and C out for me. Got the A value, Megan? 2, yep. Now, you guys could have done 1/2. I'm sorry, not 1/2. You guys could have done 2 minus -2 divided by 2 and gotten 2 back out. Or you could, again, this is what I was talking about earlier. See how it goes up to 2 down to -2? You don't even have to do the formula. It's got to be 2. C value. Isabella, what'd you get for your C value? 2 plus -2. There is no shift in this graph. All right, you ready for the B? All right, because I saw quite a few different answers here, but I'm glad you guys at least tried it. I respect that. How many, when you're looking at a graph, this is how many you see from what? 0 to 2 pi. And first, I should have mentioned this earlier. What curve is this? Sine curve, right? Starts at 0. So if you need to get out your original sine curve, go ahead. If you remember what it is, you don't have to. How many of those curves do I see from 0 to 2 pi? I don't care about the extra hang-off here. From 0 to 2 pi, how many sine curves are between there? Everyone, here you go. Here's what I did third period. Ready? There's a curve. One full sine curve, yes? And here it goes again. So for a total of 2 curves. 2 curves. Okay. Emily, put it all together. What's my equation? Y equals? Plus nothing, right? There was no shift. Okay. Any questions from you guys? How are we feeling about this? We okay? Either I tell you in words or I give you a graph. Okay. Quickly then, I know you go right to part A, but there's actually a question here. Number 5, write that equation. Amplitude of 1, frequency of a half, shifted up 3. So let's get that equation down first before we answer part A or B. Everything's all given to you. Don't have to find anything. Anna, what's the equation? Y equals? Okay, all good? All right, here we go. Now let's use it. This is kind of like a little review right now. What's the maximum of that function? What's the max? All right, basically, how high does it go up? All right, remember how I like to do this. I always like to go pre-shift. Look at it before I added 3. What's the amplitude out in front here? 1, which means it went to what? -1 to +1 originally. Right? Originally, the amplitude was 1 and went up to 1 down to -1. Now I shift it up 3. So this new min and max here gets shifted up 3. I don't care about the minimum. Lucas, what's my new maximum though? 4, yeah. So the new max is 4. Nice job. Okay, part B now. Here's where we're going to have to graph it now. We know it hits 4. We know it goes up to 4 for a maximum. Where on the x-axis will it hit 4? That's what I want to know. From -2 pi to 2 pi over this interval, where will it hit 4? Basically, I'm asking you guys right now, with my help, do a quick sketch of this for me. Let's do a quick sketch from -2 pi to 2 pi. All right, quick sketch, nothing official on graph paper. So you guys that were here on Friday, even you, heck, you guys that are even here on Thursday, we graph too. What do I need before I graph? What's needed before I graph anything? I would helpful to know what I'm going by, right? And what do I need to know first before I find out what I'm going by? I need to know the p-value, right? The period. What am I going by so I can cut that into 4s? All right, well, did they give me the period? Nope, so I got to find it. So 2 pi divided by, what was my b value? Half. So I'll let you operate on that in a second, and then I'll ask what the period was. Got the period back there, Cooper? It would be 4 pi. Now, hey, that's what you end with, right? That's what you end with, not what you go by. That's what you should be ending with, 4 pi. How do I figure out what I go by? I cut that 4 pi into 4s. So divide by 4 or multiply by a 4th. Actually, do that separately. All right, you're up, Matt. So that tells me I'm going by what? I go by every pi. Yes, every pi. So that right away, that tells me there's my first value, pi. Here you go, Alex. Next value. I'm going by pi's, though. 2 pi and then 3 pi. And then, because it does say go the negative direction, right? Negative pi, negative 2 pi, negative 3 pi, and negative 4 pi. Is anybody wondering why I'm doing all the 3 and the 4 when it only said go up to 2 pi? You can stop at 2 pi. That's fine. All right, I'm just sticking to what I've taught you about writing it all out here. But yeah, you could, after you wrote 2 pi and after you wrote negative 2 pi, I don't need to see any of the rest. Okay. Okay, let's do this, Brooke. What curve is this? What type of curve is this? Sine or cosine? Sine curve, right? So it's going to start where? At 0, but I have a shift, right? So it's going to start actually at 3. Everyone agree? 3? Everyone okay? Why? Then think about if you got to get it out, get the darn thing out. If not, think about your sine curve. It starts at 0, then it goes up to its max, right? It goes up to its max. What's the max on this curve? We just found out in part A. What's the max? 4. All right, so it's going to go to 4 now at the next key value. You can stop there if you want because it only said to 2 pi, but I want to keep going. So think about the sine curve. Ready? It goes at 0, then it hits its maximum, then it goes where? Back down to 0. So in this case, that would be 3. My points are off, excuse me. At pi, it goes up to its max, and then at 2 pi down. Okay, where's it go now? Think about your sine curve. Up, max, 0, down to the minimum, which is what? Let's see here. We didn't figure that out. We weren't asked, but what is the minimum? Everyone see positive 2 minimum? Yes, no? We see 2? And then it ends at wherever our 0 is. In this case, would be shifted up 3. That is awful spacing by me. And then what happens on the other side? It's going to repeat itself, yes? So it's going to go down to its minimum, which was what, 2? Back to 3. High points, back. Okay, let's answer the question. Where does it hit the maximum? Looks like here and here, right? But I'm only looking between what? Negative 2 pi. So everyone, hey, take a look right now. Negative 2 pi to 2 pi. Where does it hit its maximum of 4? At pi, yep. So x equals pi. It hits its maximum. Does it hit it at negative 3 pi? Yes, but that was outside the interval I was asking you for. Questions, comments? Going. Okay, next one. I'm going to have you guys do a little bit of this on your own. I would like you to graph this for me. 2 sine 1/2 x, and we're going from 0 to 2 pi here. Okay, so 0 to 2 pi. So again, just like we did on the last problem, find the period, cut it into 4s. Set up a little sketch for me. Go ahead. There's no frequency, amplitude question here. There's no shift either. Perfect. So go ahead, find the period. Cut it into 4s for me. Set up a nice x-axis. See if you can sketch in this sine curve for me. I just want to see what this looks like. How we look, all right, on that graph? Okay, let's answer the question now. What interval does this graph increase from 0 to 2? Here's what I want you to do right now. Circle, dotted line, I don't care, whatever you got to do, the portion of your graph that increases from 0 to 2 right now. All right, circle it, dash it in with the dash circle, I don't care. Show me the part of the graph that increases from 0 to 2. Because the first step is identifying it, then I'll help you write it. This might be a total embarrassment, but we'll see. Get there. Yeah. This guy. Ooh, can I turn that? Yeah, I can. Right there? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Only high quality instruction for you guys. We've identified it. How can you write the interval then? Well, first, tell me in words what the interval is that it increases from what to what? Everyone agrees 0 to pi. Now, how do I write that? You got one of two options to write it. You can write it as an inequality. Ooh, see? Get a little there. There we go. Let's go back. Here we go. You got two choices. You can write it as an inequality that it goes from 0 to pi on the x-axis. Okay, there's one way with the inequalities. And again, I don't put the or equal to because it's not really increasing at 0 or at pi. It's just those are the points. Or I think some of you guys prefer do it at interval notation, 0 comma pi. What's got to go around those bad boys though? Parentheses, yes, because it's not increasing at 0 or pi. Okay, let me see you do 7 on your own. You got it. You got it. Come on, have faith here. 7 if you haven't tried it on your own yet. And I'm not even going to mention being reflected in the x-axis. We've talked about that, what we need to add on to the equation. You can do it. I'm not done. That's not the correct answer up there, by the way. We're not done yet. Okay, it's got the correct amplitude, it's got the correct frequency, and it's got the correct C value. The only thing I didn't take care of reflected in the x-axis. What have we noticed about every equation we've graphed where the graph's been flipped over the x-axis? I have to attach a negative to the amplitude, yes. So that's where that comes in. All right, got to attach a negative. All good? All right, you ready to combine the two on your own or in your groups now? Not only write me the equation, but graph the darn thing for me. Okay, not only write the equation for me, but graph it now. Also, please keep in mind when you guys go to graph in your groups, I'm looking for at least 2 full cycles. So 1 full cycle, keep going, out, 2 full cycles. You got to find all values on your own now, but I do give you the max and the min, so. and then try to graph it. Work with each other in your group. What about your y-axis? What's your max and min here? Max and min. 14 and, because remember, originally, pre-shift, it was -4 and 4. Pre-shift, but then I added 10 to each. So it should be a minimum of 6 and a max of 14. However you want to do that on the y-axis. I went by 2s, but it's up to you. If you want to go by 1s, hey, go ahead. I don't know if it'll fit, but. Do you guys still like grafting the pre-shift and then shifting it? Or do we all go right after it one graft? You tell me, because I'll do whatever you guys are comfortable with. If you do go pre-shift first, make sure you got some negative values, because this bad boy is going to go down to -4, remember. If you guys go pre-shift graph, all right, make sure you go from 4 to -4 on your y-axis and graph the cosine curve. Should we do that, or should we try just the actual graph and that's it? Because I don't want to confuse people. Pre-shift or final one? That's what I was thinking. Do I just have you put your heads down and we'll do a vote, or what? Silent vote, or heads down, thumbs up? Anybody remember that one? 7 up. Then you get that kid who just slams your thumb down, thinks he's cool. You were probably one of that kid. I probably had a couple of them in here that just slams the thumb down. Yep. So I'm just going to graph it then. All right, if you guys don't want to do the pre-shift. This is a cosine curve, right? Cosine starts where? Okay, it starts at 1. Start thinking about what's another name for 1. It starts at its maximum. So this graph's going to start at its maximum, which we decided was 14. So get out your cosine curve if you need to. Here we go. Cosine starts at its max, then travels down to 0. What's the 0 in our case now? Well, the 4 doesn't affect it, but the 10 will. So our 0 is really going to be 10 here. Okay, so let's see. Max goes to its 0, then hits its minimum, which we decided was 6. It's just the power of knowing those two basic curves. And then from here, you guys have done the tough part. Then we're starting to go back up and repeat. So back to our 0. And then finally to our max. So there's one curve there. Why doesn't that look right? No, that's good. And then we're going to start repeating again. Nice job. Because I don't want to get ahead of third period, this is where we ended because we were short on time. So I'm going to do number 9 with you as a class first thing tomorrow. So right now, get started. Go ahead, go to page 26. See what you can do here. Oh, also, please write skip, cross out, I don't care, 8B on the next page. 8B I do not want you to do tonight. 8A is fair game, but 8B, no go. All right, get practice here. Get practice.